talking about like outlooks. I had a bachelor, his outlook on things. For me, and I'll be, you know, I'll be brief about it, but for me, I see us in like a monthly range of this. I think we were here and here on like a, I guess what people would say was like a minor structure on the monthly. All right. We lost that. Okay. So let's just say that this is, we're using our breakup structure, right? Method. So we're going to wait. It's going to come down there. Like that. And then that would stay the same. Okay. Now let's go to the weekly to make it a little bit more. So this is that level right here that I just marked. Now, if I mark from there to there, that low, that high to that low, and I look at the EQ on that, it it lines up exactly with that right there. I think that's the first point personally that we're going to hit, which also lines up with that, which was something that, should have been really important, and it was kind of back tested and then moved down, but I still think it's a really important area. There's a lot of things that are just lining up for me right around here. Let's look at it on daily again. Maybe set. That was that back test there. Let's see where we're at here.
Yeah, that's only $40 different than the other level you gave earlier, 31,781. That's
Yeah.
37,748.
Yeah, they're close. There's a lot going on in here because for me, like this was the area like we were fighting this, and I'm just gonna kind of randomly mark this, but we were fighting like this was our main support throughout the whole quote unquote bull run, right? And like everybody was expecting this to hold, and then like when it didn't, let me get rid of this, make it a little less confusing here. Yeah. When it didn't hold, that this kind of rough area, like look like look what happened, like it came down and then boom boom and then it dumped. So we lost our main level of support, um, and I'm trying to speak broadly because I'm looking at like one time frame, and like we heard like from Bachelor before, is like you can get more and more and more and more accurate going down all the way into the 5-15 second time frames, uh, which I think are super valuable. I just it just depends on what information are you trying to glean from it. You know what I mean? Like what are your expectations rather? Let me get rid of that one.
I was
Okay.
saying to Bachelor the other day, I was talking about Gareth Soloway on YouTube. He keeps
Mm-hmm.
saying 30,500. We need to stay above that for at least a few days to a week. And if we don't, then we are coming back down. So could we see what that looks like?
Yeah, I'm always hesitant. Like when people say we need to stay above it for X amount of days or weeks. And, and the reason I say that is, let me just pull up a different chart. What I think that, when people say that, what they're trying to kind of say is, I think they're speaking to like closes above a time frame higher than what they're looking at. And I don't think that they necessarily know that's what they're saying or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I, I just think it's like the fractal nature of things. But give me that number again. 30.
30,500. It's just recently it's been
Oops.
bouncing off it a little bit, especially on the 1 hour. I was looking at the 1 hour and it is bouncing off it repeatedly.
Yeah, that's right where I was just saying. Um, it's funny. That's exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me go back to this. I'll go to a higher time frame, and then I'm gonna pop a line on this here. That one. Let's change that to pink. 30,427. Okay, so if we were to just look at that, yeah, you can see, and obviously I'm going back and forth between this and the XBT chart, right? So that level and what I marked are super close, right? Yeah, I really think that I'm just trying to work this up here. That's where it is right there. Remove this, rid of that. It's that. I think that's the first low that was created, that was bought up, and then on the monthly it was just kind of wicks. It was swept. You know what I mean? Never closed through. And then when it did, like obviously that ensued, but and we can go down in time frames to get more of an understanding. Yeah, so it's the same thing that I initially had marked there. Yeah. I think that's the one. Like that's the level that they are referring to.
Yeah.
Whomever you said, which makes sense. I mean that makes sense.
Quite
And
significant. I
if
mean,
we
look
look
at
at like think about it like this, like if we were looking, just pretend this was a 1 minute chart. Thank you, babe. If this was a 1 minute chart, we'd be looking at this like, okay, it's come up and it's bouncing. All right, support. All right, oh, we lost support. It's kind of back tested around here, and it started to fall away. We're expecting it to kind of come back and back test that. You know what I mean? And it's right around there right now. And if we go back to the chart that I've been talking about, like my chart, and what I've been saying, let me get rid of a few things, and how, like, I've been talking about like this monthly EQ. So this green line I put when we're talking, but I'll get rid of it because it's the same thing. It's really close. Um, get rid of that as well. I think this is going to be minimally like a point for us to come back up to here, and then it's going to come back down, and we'll be in the same situation right here. Like if you look right here, like resistance, 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 and then we broke above it, but we never came back to back test it. It swept it, and then it just moved up. So there's inefficiency, just like Bachelor was saying. Let me get rid of that. And that just so happens to be that previous daily, what I believe will be the previous daily break of structure high. And then if we measure from, like, let's just say we hit this exactly. There. And let's just say we come, like, let's use the low that we've created recently, that would be the EQ of that. And if we look around here, like, there was a lot happening here. I think it makes more sense for it to back test like around here. Yeah. I think minimally, I think this will bring us back down to here. We see how that reacts. If it closes through it on, I don't know, 4-hour time frames and whatnot, and higher. We kind of adjust our expectations. I don't know. This is a tough one. I really think that we're we're making a lot of things happen where it makes sense that we're moving up uh more long term. I just don't, I don't think it's going to be like to the moon and back, you know what I mean? Like right now, I think we're going to ultimately come back down. Like I said last week, I think we're going to kind of do that. We're going to kind of come up here and then kind of come down, bounce, hit, and then bounce, and then come down and do this kind of number, maybe do a sweep down, and then maybe be able to move up long term. That's where my mind's at right now. And I know, Bachelor, you said that you're kind of expecting it or thinking that it could possibly come up higher, which is, I think, very likely as well. You were saying, if I remember correctly, somewhere around like here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the 40,000 range.
yeah, around there.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And that would just, I don't know. I guess I would say that would give me more confidence of more, long-term outlook as far as like Bitcoin moving up, you know what I mean? But either way, it's it's exceeded my expectations. I said that I thought that it may come up to here, and I said it back at the end of last year. I don't remember exactly when, but I know we made a video about it, and I didn't think it was likely to happen, but it's started to do it, and that's great.
So we could see a new all-time low then. So maybe the 15 was not the bottom after all.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
Hope not.
yeah. I mean, that's always the case. It
I
just
think the higher we go, the less likely is that we're gonna make a new load.
that yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, I agree, because if we come up to, where Bachelor was saying, in the 40,000 range, like, I'm getting more and more like confident that we put in the low, and but either way, I think we're coming back down. We're coming back down minimally to around here, I think, personally. And I think that, really, we got some unfinished business around here. There's not a lot really to entice, anybody. Like, I don't feel like this is all very efficient. Like, I feel like everybody was kind of like, they did what they had to do. There's like a little pocket in here, this little area in here, but that's very small. Like, I just don't think that there's nothing enticing. Like, when you see this, like when you see like a big move up here, it's like boom, 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 like that is enticing. Like, that's telling, that's telling us that they're going to come back down there. When, I mean, we can never tell, but like, look what
Coin,
happened.
could you just emphasize on that for us, please? Just tell me
And
what.
what? Go ahead, finish
No,
it.
just could you just expand on that, please? Just tell me why you're saying it will. There's a high probability it will come back down to that because of this particular move in that area.
Okay, because it's all about like, it's all about gaining and losing support and inefficiencies. So when we see, let's see, when we see like these big moves up, so let's look at this area in particular. Get my brush. So at this point in time, like, we had the slow, we were coming and we're kind of bouncing off of here, and then we had a big move up, right? And a little bounce, but it never came back down and filled this big gap in this candle here. It's like, there's not wicks upon wicks, like there's just big bodies. And this is what high time frames are one of the things they're really useful for. So that was like one signal that we could, use to tell us, like, this is an opportunity to buy in here, right in that range. Let me erase this, and I'm going to put a little box here. So if I put a box from there to there, and I pull it over to there, we came up, and you can see, like, what did we come back into and bounce off of, and then, like, look what we hit. Like, I mean, it's really important. I think it'll make a little bit more sense if I get into a higher time frame. Give me a second. Yeah, I think the daily makes a lot of sense, really. So it's gonna feel that, sorry, that's my southern voice coming out. It's gonna fill this inefficiency where we had this big move up. So you've heard people say, like, oh, if it moves up quick, or dumps quick or whatever, it's gonna do the opposite just as quickly, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of memes and sayings that you can pull up to look at that. That's why we kind of knew that, well, it was one of our signs that we had, when we made this move up. This was never filled at this point in time, like back here. And then when this came down, what is it like? what does it do? It comes and hits like right there. Probably the body of that. There. So it's filling that. It's filling that inefficiency. And this could, this they're trying to, get it up and then bring it back down to fill the rest of their order and judge things from there. You know what I mean? So an inefficiency is just like a unfulfilled thing, right? Like it's not completely been fulfilled yet. Is the way I kind of think about it.
So then, looking back then at the Bitcoin, that's an area of interest. That because it's quite low, isn't it? That price was quite low. What you were showing us.
Which one?
The earlier price there. What was it? Down to 12K or something. That original area you showed me.
Yeah, it it is, but it's not like insane to me. Like,
okay,
it's not like see, like when like this move, it dumped down, like we knew that it was going to come back up and into here. This is obviously a monthly, right? Let me go to the weekly. Like, we had this big dump down. It was always like, I mean, this happens so fast. It's always going to come back up and fill this inefficiency. This is an inefficiency right here. So on this time frame, from this point, make that a little bigger. That point here, like that's inefficiency, right? So let me do this. That one there. That line there. This was an inefficient movement. It came down so fast, not all the orders were able to be filled. Comes down and like, look what it comes back up to. It's filling that inefficiency. You know what I mean? And you could look at it fractally. If you wanted to go deeper, there was an inefficiency from here. Let me change this one to we'll change it orange, and then we'll also change this one to orange as well. This is the inefficiency on, I would say, I don't know, probably the daily or the 4 hour, to be honest. So comes down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty close. So on the daily, this was inefficient because it never came back up and it didn't fill this area here. Or does it come back up and tag right there? Boom. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah, these are gems, and it's because there's so many variables that
yeah,
there's so
it's
much to
yeah.
learn in TA, isn't it? I mean, you guys, call out these levels and they get respected, and it's like, well, how did he know that? How did he know it's going to go back up to there? So it's interesting to see all these variables. This is just one example, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know shit, like I don't know shit. uh like, I know things, but man, there's so I know Bachelor can he will agree with this. It's like, man, there's so many things, so many variables to understand, and balancing the time frames not to mention the psychological aspect of like trading, the amount of money that one has, and you know, what are they able to lose, and like what is their situation, like, you know, like how quickly do you need, like there's so many things, and it's so easy to think like, oh man, I figured these couple things out and I can make
Yeah.
$1 billion in a year. You know what I mean? But it's not that simple, unfortunately. But it is doable. You know, I mean, it's just you have to adjust it. Like you have to adjust everything. The amount of money you have, time, and the computer, all the things we've talked about today, like the type of trade you're looking for, like that balance is that's the bitch right there. Like that is the freaking bitch that you have to wrangle and wrestle with and kind of figure out. Like it's a conundrum, you know, and it's really difficult. Like it's the hardest part, but it is doable. You get it little by little. I certainly don't have it, you know, wrapped up and, you know, tamed, so to speak, but I have more tamed than I did, you know, a couple of years back. So, you know, I'm sure that Bachelor would agree with that. Like, it's just, it's like you're never going to master it. You're always going to be learning. You're never going to be perfect. And the sooner that you realize that, the better for, you know, your wallet and your mental health.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you think that, say, you know, there's somebody out there teaching you like they got the secret sauce or this or that, and you know, oh, you can, you know, master it in 6 months or this or that, it's not true, you know, like it's really not true, but it is doable. Like you can do it. It's just you have to just rein in your expectations, and you have to be dedicated, you know what I mean, and just be disciplined in learning things, on the mental side and the TA side, you know, learning all the things. And I think having a group of people and friends to talk to about it, some that are more experienced than you, and then some that are as experienced as you are, and then even a lot that are less experienced than you are. I think that is like the trifecta, and it helps you grow. It has helped me grow.